Okay, over to the Palmos.
Yes. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, viewers of the Comrade Show, depending on where you are reaching us in the world. You are welcome to, our program today, which has come really behind schedule. And I want to, on behalf of the team, apologize to all our viewers around the world, the global audience who have been, getting in touch with us for today's program. Like you all know, this program has been scheduled, and we are to have our presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, on this show today. But we'll be having some issues, with the schedule, and the principal, Mr. Peter Obi, is at the moment not here with us, but we are having with us our father, Professor Pat Utomi, standing in at the moment. So I just want to quickly introduce the team. I have here my brother Obedient Comrade Lamte Oriahi, and Obedient Pharmacist Austin Iremina, the regular faces here. So we all apologize for keeping you all waiting. But I want to tell you that we are deeply sorry, and Professor Pat Utomi is here with us. He will just speak to us at this point in time. Prof, you are welcome, sir. And thank you for joining us. We know you just came off a flight and you are still at the airport at this moment.
Well, thank you so very much. First of all, I want to send warm greetings to the gang on the Comrade Show. You do such a remarkable job of staying in touch with the grassroots and helping galvanize the voice of the people. And we who know that the voice of the people is the voice of God, enormously appreciative of what you do on this show. I also want to thank immensely the global audience for the patience that they have shown. I want to say that this morning I was in Onitsha, and I actually was in a significant ceremony many months ago. Pope Francis conferred on me the papal knighthood of St. Gregory the Great, and we have just been struggling to find time to actually go through a formal investiture ceremony. I managed to dash into Onitsha this morning for that event, and Pio came in. He didn't even stay halfway through the mass because he had a commitment in Lagos that he had to rush to. And even this morning, he and I talked about this show and his commitment for this evening. Unfortunately, he is caught in a major commitment, and he has not managed to extricate himself as it is. So I have said that I will take a few of the questions people may have for him that I'm able to respond to. I have been privileged to be on this show. I was here just a few days ago, and I know that some very important questions that help shape nation building in our country, do come out of this engagement. I know that you cannot build a strong modern democracy without these kind of
Yeah. We got Prof back now.
I think Prof will have to unmute himself.
Okay. I am quite privileged to be able to make my voice available to respond to any a quick one. Well, we hope that he may be able to join, and if he doesn't join, that we will find another time when he can do the needful, because he does feel very committed to the kinds of voices that are on this show, and I think that he will be full of apologies if he doesn't manage to make this when he does show up the next time. So if there's any value I can add, I am very, very pleased to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Prof. For finding time even right at the airport to come in on this show. Obedient pharmacist Remira, is there any question you want to put across to Prof?
Yeah, thank you so much, Obedient Dr. Tony Agbons and Obedient Komilati Bosarahi. Prof, I want to congratulate you again. People like you are rare to find. You are a true Nigerian. Even in the minuteness of time where you can give excuse, you still make yourself available. As a Catholic myself, I want to congratulate you for being elevated to that knighthood of St. Gregory the Great. Congratulations. I'll ask you these questions. APC had their presidential candidate took their vice president from the north, and the issue of religion has been on the offing. Although they denied initially, but you can see that all the presentation and appearance by the APC presidential candidate has been assuaging towards the religious class. Only last week he met with, I think, a body of Khan. As a Catholic yourself, for which I'm privileged to be myself, what do you think the role of religion will be as we walk towards 2023?
Well, I think that what really matters is who can best serve the people, who has the capacity, who has the competence, who has the discipline, and who has the vision to set a new course to get people living better than they have lived during the last couple of years. You know, in American politics, the big question that gets asked is, are you better today than you were 4 years ago? And I think most Nigerians are in a good position to answer the question whether they're better off today than they were 4 years ago. Just 3 days ago, the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics published its latest poverty indicators. Please hold on, he's calling me, hold on.
Okay, so I think Prof is going to take a phone call. Yes, Comrade Obedient.
That call is coming from
Mr. Peter
yes,
Peter Obi.
Peter Obi.
So, yeah, so Comrade Obedient Comrade Oriahi, from the tangent that Prof was already analyzing,
yeah.
What do you say about this religion issue? Does it really matter?
Honestly, I think that we have discussed this, offline. I think that one of the things that we are going to consider a huge bane into our development as a people is religion, and the way we practice it, really. And I think that we've gone through, too many experiences, to make us begin to reconsider, our position with religion. Religion is not really a problem, but I think that the way we practice religion, is a major issue. We are unable to separate, other aspects of life, from some aspects of the religion itself, and all of. And a lot of people, who are religious leaders, knowing fully well that many Nigerians and Africans are very much tied to religion. They've been taking advantage of the doctrines of religion to exploit society, and that is very sad. And so we are hoping that when there is a new mandate, a mandate to reposition Nigeria under the leadership of incoming President Peter Obi, the values of Nigerian people will change tremendously. That's our hope. That's our drive. And when the values change and the opportunities are there for people to thrive economically and otherwise, I think that there will be less attention, on the way we practice religion. Only a few days ago, somebody was complaining bitterly in Edo State that a church, for instance, was built opposite a school, and this church, they are holding service Mondays through Fridays, disturbing even children who are going to school and all of that. So all of these practices, they need to be properly regulated, and it's only when we have a government that made business, a government that wish to reposition the country, that such regulations can come, and these regulations will come when there's a fertile ground for Nigerians to pursue their full measure of happiness, have employment, and of course understand that most of our daily lives need to be put into productivity, and that's what Peter Obi keeps talking about. Turning Nigeria from a consumption nation, which it is today, to a production nation. And so we are very hopeful that Peter Obi's emergence as president of Nigeria, when that happens, will jumpstart a new process that will reposition not just religion, but strengthen Nigerian institutions and, of course, make Nigeria work for all Nigerians. I think that is going to help to redefine the entire landscape.
Yeah, thank you very much, Obedient Comrade Oriakhi, for that answer you have provided, following the tangent that Professor Utomi was speaking on before he got that phone call from the principal. Obedient Pharmacist Iremira, no, you asked a question, but I'm going to ask you a question tied to your own question now, and you are going to give answer. We just talked about religion. How about the issue of tribe? Where does this stand in this whole perimeter?
Thank you so much, Obedient Dr. Tony Agbons. I think I love the way Prof situated it, and of course the follow-up comment by Komilati Pawosa Oriakhi on that same question. I think they appear the same, because the way Nigeria is, it's become very difficult to separate religion away from tribe. And like Lamte would always say, we are members of different nations plugged together. I think until our democracy gets mature to a certain stage, it may be difficult to eliminate religion as well as tribe or race, let me say. That has a role to play, because the way we are at the moment, wherever you come from, say, for example, the Yorubas will want to say, he's our son, let us give all Yoruba votes. The East will say that, and of course the North will say that. Until we become mature to a certain stage where that will not matter, then we'll say we are on the road. As it is now, my brother, Dr. Tony Agbons, it does matter. But only good governance, true democracy, hard work, no maladministration, but good administration will change the tide. And I think the present road to 2023 with Peter Obi on the saddle is somewhat changing the narrative. So people are now made to see that there's another side to it. So to some extent it's there. It will take a bit of time for it to come down. But our appeal to Nigerians is, like Peter Obi would always say, the cost of bread is not so differently to a Christian, it's not so differently to a Muslim, it's not so differently from somebody in the Edo State or somebody from the North. It shouldn't be a problem, but it is a problem. Let's hope that 2023 will wipe it out. But to run away from it to say it's not a problem will just not be telling the truth. It's hope that our democracy, our governance, our living together will grow to maturity where that will not be an issue anymore, but it will take some time.
Thank you very much. I think on my part, I would just want to add to what you have said, Obedient Pharmacist Remira, that we hope that our democracy will evolve. And just like Peter Obi has been saying, people should not vote for him because he's from the Southeast. He has been saying that people should not vote for him because he's an Igbo man. But his song has been that this election should be about competence, character, and trust. And what he's been saying repeatedly in most of the fora he's been to is that the leading candidates should all be assessed based on these three very important parameters. And I think that is the way to go. Whether at the local government level, at the state level, and at the federal level, we should base what we are doing on these three things. I think we got Prof back now joining us. So viewers, we are happy to have Professor Pat Utomi. Prof, good to have you back after the phone call.
Prof is muted.
Unmute your device, sir.
He was the one on the line, and as I suspected, it was heavy-duty stuff. It's in the company of a couple of former heads of state. He will call in the next 5 minutes once he gets out from their meeting.
Thank you very much, Prof. Yes. Our viewers, you can hear that very important message from Professor Pat Utomi. Peter Obi is in a meeting, and Prof has told us that he will call in the next 5 minutes. Thank you all for your patience. Prof, we don't know if you'll be able to continue the tangent of the answer you were, of your speech. We know you are still at the airport on the tribal issue. Prof is actually at the airport. Thank you so much. But why, before we get Prof back and while we wait for the connection with Mr. Peter Obi, I want to come back to you, Comrade Lamteoria.
Sorry, okay, I'm here. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was trying to say if you can just finish the answer.
I thought, yes, okay.
On the tribe,
yes,
on the religion issue.
On the religion issue, yes. I was saying that what matters, as Peter Obi himself has said frequently, is that there is no special price for Muslims of bread. There is no, if you will, special treatment of Christians or anybody. Poverty is poverty. In the last 3 days, I was saying, the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics released the poverty indicators. Really, honestly speaking, the only word to use is that Nigeria is perhaps the most miserable place to live on the planet Earth today. There are some states in Nigeria where up to 90% of the entire population live in absolute poverty. That is not acceptable, and no religious veneer will cover that. Having said that, however, religion is a very powerful thing. It teaches us to love our neighbors. And any true person of faith, whether they be Muslim or Christian, will have learned from their faith that if they can think love towards their neighbor, then they should be able to sacrificially give of themselves to uplift the betterment of their neighbors. That it is love of God that makes you love your neighbor. And this is a basic tenet in all religions. And so we do not discard religion as a useful thing in life. It is useful. But what matters is, can leadership take this teaching of love that is in religion and use it to serve people who are so far being treated so badly that they live so miserably, that you can get 90% of the entire population of a state live in absolute poverty. And then you look at the lifestyle of those who are leading these states that are in absolute poverty, and they are flying around in chartered jets. These are moral issues. No matter what religion you confess, moral issues. And this is why the candidacy of Peter Gregory Obi must focus on, first of all, this is why the Underage public resources are used for the public good and advancing the betterment of all Nigerians, not a clique of elite who capture the state and use it as their personal tool, while the people that are supposed to be responsible are dying hopelessly. They have weaponized poverty This is the reason that they are voting the way that they are voting, because they do not even know, because they have been denied education. They do not even know what is their own good, their own interest. This kind of turn into religion must stop, and we must use religion as a base to shape our morality to serve our neighbors better.
Thank you very much, Prof, for what you have just said. I very, very much align with your statement that poverty has now been weaponized by the political elite and the ruling class to, completely dehumanize Nigerians. Obedient Comrade Oriaki, I don't know if you have a question for Prof.
Yes, I do. I honestly, I really want to ask His Excellency, Mr. Peter Obi, this question, but I like Prof to take a go at it. Prof, my mother is very elderly. She's here with me right in the UK. She's very passionate about Peter Obi. It is to the extent that she's on her neck to ensure that we get her a ticket to go back to Nigeria and vote come February. And so we have given her the assurances that we are going to, buy her a ticket to go back to Nigeria and vote. But she has a concern, sir. And the concern is that the challenges in Nigeria today, they are quite mountainous. The economic challenges, the security challenges, and they are building up by the day. And hopefully Peter Obi is elected. And when he's elected, before the election, the issues we have today would have even increased, because there is nothing shows that these problems are in any way abating. And so she does not envy Obi. Her concern is, will Peter Obi as president not be overwhelmed with these issues of economic woes, issues of insecurity, issues with everything, high cost of living like never before seen in this country? Like you yourself have said, that Nigeria today is the most miserable place on earth. And many of us will agree with that. Don't you think, from your own position, of course, as an insider, like my mother is concerned, many Nigerians are concerned, do you think that these issues will overwhelm Peter Obi to the extent that expectations will not be met?
Well, in the early days of the study of economic development, in the first development decade, there were theories like the theories of rising expectation and rising frustration. Obviously, people who have been waiting for some salvation are going to face rising expectation, in a way that might seem almost impossible to meet. But that's where leadership comes in. Leaders are people who can feel the pain of people, connect to them, vision tomorrow in a way that those people can connect to it, and inspire those people to collaborate with them in chasing after that future that they have envisioned. I think that it is possible for people who are giving hope. I don't want to mention names, but there's one of the former leaders that I just spoke to in the phone call that interfered in my first contribution. And I remember what I said to him when he was in leadership of the country many, many years ago. And I said to him, look, the world is frustrated with us. But if you embark on this kind of initiative, at that time, there was no cash in people's pockets in the country. People were really, stretched. And I said, if we can manage to take the goodwill we have in the world and get this kind of project, that kind of project to catalyze, not only the possibilities of improving infrastructure, but employ hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of small people, just cutting down the jungle for these projects, you would just get the feeling that we can make a difference, we can make it happen, lift people's spirit in a way that they will become more creative, more productive, and our country will travel much further. I do believe that it is possible for visionary leadership to capture the expectations and prevent it from becoming massive frustration. And so this management of possibilities is a critical part of the strategy going forward. I can share with you all here something that we have planned. On Friday, the 2nd of December, we are having a summit in Abuja of the Big Tent, the P2B campaign organization, and the Labour Party on energizing the public service to lead transformational change. What Nigeria desperately needs now is transformational change, no petty fiddling. But is the public service geared to do that? Our fear is that the public service is in a very bad shape, doesn't have capacity, doesn't have motivation, and is seriously disoriented by corruption. So how do you get that public service ready for shock therapy that would drive us to a greater common good of all? And so we're bringing in from around the world, including one of our people in the UK, diaspora guy in the UK, who works in public bureaucracy and they contract with the people. We're bringing in a team that works on Kaizen, continuous improvement, and we're bringing in a speaker from the United States, and then a stretch of old local experts on the Nigerian public service, some of who are perhaps well known to us. Before I boarded the flight in Asaba about 2 hours ago, I was on a Zoom meeting like this of the big tent think tank chaired by Mr. Emmanuel Ijewere and Ambassador Keshi and others, and I was talking about this initiative and how Ambassador Keshi should rally a group of old civil servants and for us to do some brainstorming on how to revitalize the Nigerian public service to go into that December 2nd summit. So yes, if we have a prepared civil service, if we have a properly energized team, and we have visionary leadership, it is possible that your mother will see a clearer tomorrow from out of the challenge of now, and can have a good sense. At the very least, she should be able, like Simeon in the temple, when Jesus was brought in, be able to say that his eyes have seen the salvation of the world, and now his servants can go in peace. Yes, I do think that it is possible that we can see a greater future out of this frustration.
Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you so much for this enlightenment and education. And a lot of our viewers on YouTube and Facebook and other of our social media handles are really, in tune with you, and they are following you religiously as you, deposit this great thought. Prof, there's something worryingly, and a lot of our viewers have been putting this question out, and they want to ask you again. The issue of PVC. We know that this week there was a big news when you made some statement about voting in the future and how voting should be done. But at the moment, we are going to do this election with PVC, with the beavers and all that. So what is the Labour Party machinery doing about the slow pace of PVC allocation, because people are getting disenchanted and we are getting a lot of this concern. I think the Labour Party, what is being done? Although INEC has been assuring, but people want more action, not talk.
Not talk, yes. No, you are absolutely right, which is the reason that we started around the country. Last Thursday, we had a march on INEC from about 10 different cities, and we're going to do it again and expand the number of cities where we have these to get INEC to realize that we are watching them and that the future of our democracy rests on they are not disenfranchising the Nigerian people. All of you out there should be screaming about it because it is the very essence, thank you, of the democratic process that we be able to talk rationally to the problems that challenge our democracy. Look, we have a situation where for 20 years or a little more, a group of political scientists from the United States, elsewhere, Nigeria, Africa, have been through the instrumentality of the Afrobarometer, been tracking the disposition towards democracy on the continent of Africa. Year on year, what has been found is that Nigerians have been losing interest in their democracy from a very high in 1999 to pretty low lows. Few are actually coming out to exercise their vote. That's why this year is an extraordinary year, because suddenly these people who have been fed up with the electoral process, with the voting, have been energized and they've gone to register in their millions. If INEC disenfranchises them, it may be singing the non-dimities of democracy, not only in our country, but on our continent.
I think we lost some connections with Prof there. Why Prof? Prof, are your connection back on? Obedient pharmacist Remira, why Prof is trying to reconnect back to us. Okay, I think Prof. Pharmacist, if you can just talk about this PVC collection.
Thank you so much, Obedient Dr. Tony Agbons. I think we mentioned this countless number of times. Prof is back. Like Comelato would always say, the success of an election is before, during, and after. And PVC plays a very important role. We have to continue to mount pressure and appeal to INEC to do the needful, to make sure that PVCs are given to the people and given to them on time. Just before I came on, a lady spoke with me all the way from Lagos. She's been registered since July. She's been registered since July, and she's still not collected a PVC. And in the course of our conversation, she made me to understand that there are lots of young people too who are in similar situation. INEC should do the right thing. Professor Mahmoud should leave his name on the sand of time. That 2023 was a turning point where everybody eligible to vote actually voted. It's just over 97 days to that election. I think a lot can still be done. INEC need to up their game. Nigerians want to be involved. Involve the most, vote the most.
Thank you. Prof, unmute, sir.
I think I have. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Go on, sir.
Okay. Right. Yes, please. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, we were speaking about the PVC collection. INEC,
oh, yeah.
All that.
Right. I mean, there are, clearly challenges with how they've organized it. We've tried to tell them that. We are giving them the benefit of the doubt for now. There are those who impugn all kinds of sinister motives about the deliberate disenfranchising of the people. But I think that at this moment, we want to give them the benefit of the doubt. We would like to see a better organization of how the PVCs are collected, asking people to come to the local government headquarters and they go and spend. I mean, after 2 or 3 days of doing that, most ordinary people give up and just walk away. So we cannot accept that that is the way to do it. They must find ways of decentralized distribution of these. And as I said in the march in Abuja, look, what are biometrics about? They've captured the biometrics of the people. What's even the value of having a physical card? If you have the biometrics, the person shows up, the system should be able to capture their face, capture their fingerprints, and say, this is the person that is registered here, and the person should be able to vote. I mean, that should be seamless. Waiting for a physical card is just one of those very typical Nigerian things in which bureaucracy becomes the excuse that trumps democracy. And we must work to ensure that this is not what we deal with.
Thank you, Prof. Prof, we're going to give you some time off now if we can get any correspondence from our principal. Why we just wait for you to do that off air, then we'll get you back so that the global audience
and just to add, sir, sorry, I'm cutting in obedient Dr. Agbons. Just to add, Prof, he's got the link to join us directly if it's convenient for him.
Right. I will call him because what I said to him when he called me in the company of the people, he called me, and those ones spoke with me. I said to him, please join quickly, and he said as soon as he was out from them, he would join. Okay. But let me go off from you now and see if I can call him to find out if he has exited that meeting.
Thank you, Prof. Yeah. So while Prof is doing that contact with Mr. Peter Obi for us, our audience, we want to thank you for your patience. Despite the wait, somebody has written here, he said it is worth the wait. We really appreciate you for hanging on. It is really great from our side here. We appreciate you. So, comrade, I was coming to you. Apart from this PVC thing, this week there was a report. Although that report now has been broken into 2 parts, we don't really know which side is true. It was alleged that about 2.7 million unqualified entries have been removed from the voters register. The INEC resident electoral commissioner in Kano State made this disclosure at an event in Kano. But there were some misreports about whether it was a national figure or it was just Kano State. That is on one side. But people have been coming on air to say it is not just Kano State, it's all over the country at the moment. So that aside, there's also this problem of underage voting. In fact, one of our viewers just put that one, I'm just trying to look for his name, Uche Samuel. He said, how do we tackle the issue of underage voting, especially in the North?
But look, there's something I'm happy about so far. It is that the effort of all Nigerians is paying off. The few things that we see INEC respond to shows that they are listening and they are making efforts to clean up the system, which is a good thing. It's taken us quite some time to get here. Whether those 2-something million votes removed from the INEC system register, whether they are national figures or they are just from Kano State, I'm not really bothered about that. I think what I'm glad to know is that at least some effort is being made towards removing unqualified persons whose names are in the INEC register. And so like the the INEC national chairman said, in one of the interviews I listened to, he said they cannot guarantee that all of these things, will be done. There may still be, skirmishes of, errors here and there. You understand what I'm saying? And all that. But if they are greatly minimized to the extent that they don't affect the outcome of the election, it's a good step. And again, it means that gradually we are evolving. And this evolution, I can tell you, is taking place because Nigeria has come to a stage where it is not a matter of blah, blah, blue, blah, boo. It's come to that stage because Peter Obi is right in the mix. And so everything that you're seeing happening right now, all the efforts being made to ensure that this system, is better, it's because people who are obedient are asking the right questions. They are mounting pressure. They are relentless. They are committed because this commitment is born out of frustration. And so INEC definitely would have no other option than to respond to the yearnings of these very many, multi-million Nigerians that want real change in Nigeria. And everybody's beginning to understand that Nigeria cannot be a subject of blah, blah, blue, blah, 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 as it were. And so when Prof. who said just now that, there's been some march to different INEC offices, and that is going to be increased to ensure that, PVC collection is decentralized so that more Nigerians, if not all, that have registered to collect their PVCs can actually get their PVCs and all of that. And again, the other aspect that Prof mentioned, that we need to, evolve beyond this issue of PVC and have a more robust system, a system that will be seamless, with facial recognition and just fingerprint, to identify eligible voters and all of that. I think that if this trajectory, continues, by the grace of God, Peter Obi gets elected, I think that we are going to get there. And let's not forget, very many Nigerians already, even in this particular process, they are disenfranchised already. Nigerians abroad cannot vote, Nigerians in the diaspora. But Peter Obi has promised that that's going to be one of the first bills, his government is going to send to the National Assembly, to put motion in place to ensure that Nigerians in diaspora are able to vote in subsequent elections. So I think that we've come some length, and there's so much hope in the candidacy of Peter Obi, and that when he becomes president of Nigeria, a lot is going to change along the way. And so I think we just need to reside with hope and continue to believe and work hard for the actualization of a Peter Obi, presidency that will further take Nigeria to that promised land. So where we are, I am hopeful that things will definitely get better. The news coming out.
Thank you very much, obedient Comrade Lamte Oriahi. You are very hopeful, and it's very good to have hope. I come to you now, obedient pharmacist Remira. What is your take on this issue of PVC collection that is becoming a ding-dong affair? We go to the bank, and then they just print your, bank card, ATM card, as it's called in Nigeria. They give it to you right there and then, after you've done everything you need to do. So what is this big deal about issuing this plastic card to people, which is just like ID card that people print, from machines? And then my second question to you, the issue of underage voting. What have you got to say about this, comrade?
Thank you so much, obedient Dr. Tony Agbons. To be frank, it shouldn't be a big issue. I think Prof pointed that out very clearly last week when he made a broadcast following their demonstration. To be frank, you've answered the question. Why is it a big issue? I think it's being a big issue because INEC think it's something novel, but it's something that is just easy. Transforming from one process to the other back in our country sometimes is being made to be very cumbersome and very difficult. Like it is said, Dr. Tony Agbons, and like what Prof said, I don't think anybody need that PVC to vote on that day. Even if it's lost, you can still vote because there's facial recognition. Your name is there. The word is going seamless. So I know
this call, sir.
Okay, we can take the call.
Yes, let's take the call.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Okay, my name is Ifan. I'm calling from United Arab Emirates.
Go ahead, Mr. Ifan. You've got 1 minute, sir.
Okay, please, yeah, I just want to commend you guys for your wonderful effort. And then I want you people to know that the PDP party and the APC party, they don't have any points, okay? Concerning the topic of APC manifesto and Tinubu shouting, hope is here, hope is here. I wonder the reason why they don't even make research of the meaning of hope. Hope is just an expectation, which you don't really know whether your expectation will come true. Are you getting me? Then I just give them a simple analysis. Maybe somebody sold a land and traveled to abroad, hoping that when he gets to abroad, he will make money. But getting to abroad, the entire family is now hoping that this person will make it and help the entire family. But on getting there, maybe this person was repatriated back after he must have sold the land of the family. So all hope is lost. Are you understanding me? So this thing that Tinubu is just saying, hope is here, hope is here, he doesn't have any point. He doesn't have any meaningful point to present to Nigeria. Then coming to Atiku campaign agenda is privatization. Atiku never knew the effect of privatization to the citizens of Nigeria. When you privatize it, all the whole sectors, all the whole private sectors, no price control. All those private sectors will fix their price at high cost, which the poor masses in the society cannot be able to afford the goods they need. Are you getting me? So I only see P2B as somebody that is making points by saying that Nigeria will embark on production, not consumption. When you are producing, you will use your product to control the price of other sectors. Because so the poor people, if the poor man doesn't...
Mr. Epai, I may have to stop you there, sir. The 1 minute we give to you is far gone. Thank you very much. You've made some very good points. Of course, the whole world has listened to you. Thank you, sir, and have a good day.
Okay, thank you, brother.
Bye now.
Yeah, thank you so much. You know, when this flow of narrative gets into discussion, Mr. Ifeanyi, he just took the mic and he didn't want to drop it. Yes, go on. Viewers, you can call in. Our numbers is being displayed now. Call in and ask your questions or make your contribution. Please, it's an engagement. Go on.
I really like Ifeanyi's response. I think the road to where it's going to is very clear. So to answer your question, Dr. Tony Agbons, really it shouldn't be very difficult. It shouldn't be a big deal. I think the poor performance of INEC not giving these things out is start opening the eyes of Nigerians. And we're asking that question that you just asked. Why? What's the delay? I think they have to respond. They've done well, but they need to do more because the situation requires more to be done. Then on the issue of underage voting, I think this has been a tradition in our country, but with the emergence of OBI and the light shining on the electoral process, everybody is now awakening to the process and we are now coming to terms with it. I think firstly, I want to blame and also appeal to INEC staff. Dr. Tony Agbons, nobody can register you without INEC. So many INEC staff are culpable of this and they've been doing it. I think like the spokesman for INEC said, many INEC staff are responsible. And he also said that because some part of our country, we don't have any birth certificate, the parents come in to say, yes, my child is this, and there's no way to verify it. INEC staff just go ahead and register these people. But I take it a bit further. Even if somebody comes to talk about his age, you can tell, maybe from interrogation, from asking questions, from doing just the needful, we'll be able to at least prune it down. And it speaks to our country. If we have biodata, information captured from when you are born, we'll not be talking about this. But of course, the time is short. We have to address what's in our hands now. I want to appeal to INEC staff to stand their ground. If birth certificate cannot be presented, Let us have a genuine conviction that the said person is not an underage before registering them. Again, education is very important, because if we have good education system, they'll be able to speak for themselves, or we can have their records as well. And also to parents who have been used to do this. Whatever you do to your country by way of allowing underage voters to come in, they end up voting for the wrong people, and our country will not be good for it. We have to claim our place in the right place of Committee of Nations in the world. So INEC should have a more robust system in place. We may not be able to control whatever registration has been done prior to now, but I think going forward, we will be able to control it. It is a problem, and if not nip in the bud, will continue to cause huge problem to all of us. But INEC, its staff are hugely responsible. And of course, the National Orientation Agency, I don't know what they are there for. They should give information and give it properly.
Yeah, thank you very much, Obedient Pharmacist Remiran. I just want to quickly clarify, because Okeke in Kiruka, at the moment, you need the voter's card. Everybody need the voter's card. What Pharmacist Remiran was saying is that hopefully we get to that stage when people's biometric are captured, they can vote. But now, for this particular election we are going to do in February, you need to show your PVC. So I hope I've clarified you. The PVC, you must hold that card. It is very, very important. There's a question. Somebody, this is not a question, this is a contribution from Isaac Idoro. Isaac, our numbers, we are going to display it again. If you can call in, these are the kind of cases we want to take up with the authorities. Isaac said, I registered in February. Till now, I have not got my PVC. Isaac Idoro, if you can call in, we really need to speak to you. And there have been a lot of you who have been calling us, who have been sending us messages. So
you
please,
you have a caller, sir. I don't know if you want to
we'll take the call. Yeah, let's take the call.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
OJ Naruna from Geneva, Switzerland.
Go ahead, sir. You've got a minute, sir.
Okay, I didn't get the name. Okay, what?
Okay.
What?
Naruna.
Naruna, yeah.
OJ Naruna, yeah. I just wanted to ask the House and the learned prof, and even our principal himself, what are they doing practically to make good use of the advantage of his vice presidential candidate in the north, because we need to build up steam up north.
Okay.
Yeah, very good question. Yeah, we'll pass down to Prof and our principal when it comes on. Yeah. A very good question. Thank you, Mr. Haruna from Switzerland. Very good question there. So, obedient comrade Oriahi, I'm coming to you now. This issue of underage voting, we know that is more prevalent in the northern part of Nigeria. It's very, very so. What I want us to close this matter now. What is your final advice to INEC on this? Because Pharmacist Remira already said that these things cannot happen without INEC staff being complicit. So what is your final advice on this, or to INEC?
I think INEC needs to be clean. And again, there's a lot of conspiracy surrounding this issue of underage voting, underage getting to the register. I mean, 8-year-old children, 9-year-old children will not just stroll into the register. People organize them. People, liaise with INEC members. It's an orchestrated arrangement by people who want to, make up numbers. So at the end of the day, the Benin man says that it is the head of an animal. On the head of an animal, you look for the eye. So I think it's a matter that must be taken seriously with INEC. I understand that INEC, they've sanctioned some of their staff, because of some, attempt to compromise even the beavers and all of that. So I think a lot more needs to be done by INEC. For the children to have got into the register, for the 2 million, people that they have removed from the register because of some of these kind of, conspiracies and all of that, people were responsible. People gave out, the beavers to get those people registered and all of this. So I think that there should be some sweeping change as far as INEC is concerned. And I've earlier expressed that I am hopeful that the election of OBI in February, we definitely, give rise to this discussion at that executive level, wherein the government will look into this matter very, holistically to clean up the electoral process a lot more. You have a caller. Hello. Yeah, hello. What's your name and where are you calling from, sir?
From the UK.
Okay, please, can you reduce the volume of your other device?
His name, what was his name?
Donatus is very high. Go ahead, sir. You've got a minute, sir.
Yeah, so the reason why I'm calling is for somebody to help me answer this question.
We are listening, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So it's
Sir?
Regarding the electronic reporting of our results.
Okay.
I would like to know, will results be uploaded online from the polling unit before they are sent to the collation center? That's my question. Because without the results being uploaded online before they get to the collation center, I think there's a big risk of the credibility of the election being undermined by the collation officers. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Over to you, Dr. Agbons.
Thank you very much, Mr. Izerikai. For information available to us at the moment, the result after voting is done. But before voting is done, let me just make this clear. There's accreditation. So if there are 100 people in a polling unit, the total number of votes can never be more than 100. That's the good thing with this system. So if 100 people are accredited, that will be the number of total votes that the political parties there will score. After that, when the collation is done, the result is put on, I can't remember the name of the form something, I can't remember the number now. And then it is scanned electronically to the local government collation center. So this is where the electronic thing has always been the issue. So once it gets there, that scanned result is available on INEC portal. So as each polling unit across the local government, across the state, everybody will have access to it. And that is why we keep saying that with the use of this technology, it will be very, very impossible for those who want to rig, to be very, very impossible for them to rig. We have seen it happen during the Edo State governorship election. We have seen it happen in Anambra State election. We have seen it happen even in the last Osun and Ekiti State governorship elections. If you look at the total number of votes, people were like, oh, the numbers are very few. The reason for that few number of votes is that people could not inflate it because it was what was scanned from the polling unit, like in Anambra State. The current governor of Anambra State, who is, by the way, is under the spotlight now for certain reason. I think he won with about 100 and something thousand votes. So because of the use of technology. So Mr. Izerikai, that is what is on ground. But despite this, we are still going to keep our eye on things because knowing our politicians, they always find a way to circumvent the system. But Nigerians will not allow it. And like Comrade Oriaki will always say, this is what happened before the election, during the election, and after the election that determines whether an election is free and fair. So I hope I've made that contribution. Obedient Comrade Iremira, you have anything to say to this caller?
No, I think it's just to encourage him. Like you said, you've answered it very well. It will be uploaded. We encourage everybody that is voting to be very vigilance. Results will be announced at your different wards and unit as well. So I think with what is on ground, certainly it's a no-go area. They would have to. INEC has no choice in that area. I think the only place where we have problem just now is this PVC's collection. That's the only problem at the moment. Those uploading and collision, I think huge amount of work has been done in that area. I don't see a situation where they're going to manipulate things. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to talk about something else, Dr. Komilante Posariaki. Often than not, followers of Peter Obi, and of course, those that have come to bear the toga and the emblem of obedient, they've been maligned a lot. And you agree with me that the majority of these people are youth. Is it a case of Nigerians are beating their children and their youth and asking them not to cry? Are we asking too much for being obedient and for crying? What do you have to say, obedient Komilante Posariaki?
To be fair, to be very, very honest, I actually don't listen. Even I stumbled into a program on TVC. It was this matter that they were talking about. As a matter of fact, Soludo was the man they were referencing with all that have been happening, particularly having made those the statement he made concerning Peter Obi and all of that, and the reactions he's been getting, and even more. You understand what I'm saying now? I think why I do not blame the obedience. First, let's situate this properly. Obedience are Nigerians. They are not people from the blues. They don't go to separate markets that others go to. They don't buy their products cheaper or higher than others. But there is something that is a baseline for all obedience. Everybody is tired, frustrated with the status quo. And so Obi coming into this fray, coming into this picture, grooms hope that never existed, groomed hope that people never thought would happen. And so therefore, anything that appears to want to truncate the possibility of an Obi's presidency will be ruthlessly resisted because the system has not been fair on Nigerians. The Nigerian system, politically, economically, in every ramification, has not been fair to the ordinary Nigerian. So at the end of the day, the ordinary Nigerian, particularly those that are the multitude that have become very obedient, that are believing that with incoming President Peter Obi, there's a chance that Nigeria will change for the better. They are desperate to have that change. So there is nothing personal. It's people standing up to anything that looks like the status quo, or anything that is looking like they want to protect the status quo or truncate the process that will make Obi become president of Nigeria. People really want to experience Obi's presidency. We are not talking of blah 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 in this regard, or talking of people enriching their friends. But on a candidate that has practically shown Nigerians the possibility of making Nigeria a better place. A candidate that is asking Nigerians to verify. A candidate that is prepared, who summarizes his postulations, his campaign, with having a president in Nigeria that will be competent, that will have integrity, that will be trustworthy, that Nigerians can believe in, and that will not be running abroad for medical treatment every now and again. A Nigerian will be a resident Nigerian that will lead from the front. So at the end of the day, when you look at all of these, I want to say very strongly, with all due respect to everybody, that the reactions of obedience, it's very natural. If they are not reacting that way, then I will be surprised, to be very honest. I will be surprised. But no love lost. We are all Nigerians. The tongue and the teeth will quarrel, but we will still come to the round table. They are still part of the mouth. So I think that's the way it is, my brother. Frustration has driven a lot out.
Hello?
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 I can hear you, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Okay, thank you. My name is Mr. Samuel Uche. I'm calling from Poland.
Samuel Uche from Poland. Go ahead, sir. You've got 1 minute, sir.
Okay, I want to commend the Comrade Show. Thank you. I want to say thank you to you guys. Your program the impact is being felt all over Nigeria, of course, all over the world. Thank you so much. My question is this: what is I want to know the number of votes required for P2B to take over Southwest. Is it already achieved? And if not, what are the predictions as regards to that? What are the plans to achieve that, knowing that Tinubu come from that region? Number two, as well as North, what are the required number of votes that we are looking at from the North as well? What is being done to achieve that? So that's what I want to know. Of course, we know that Obi is taking over Southeast, South for the moment, and somewhere North Central, but Southwest, we're not talking much about that. What are the plans to take over those places, and what is being done to achieve that? Thank you.
Thank you very much. My brother, Mr. Samuel Uche, all the way from Poland. Thank you so much. To answer your question, by the current electoral act and by Nigerian electoral system, all a candidate needs to become president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is to have majority votes, and then you must at least score 25% of the votes in 24 states of Nigeria. We have 36 states, 24 out of 36. And we believe very strongly that going by what is on ground, if the election was to be done today, Mr. Peter Obi would win this election. So that is it. So it's at least majority vote, and then you get 25% of the number of votes in at least 24 states. Because Nigeria, we are not using the region kind of thing like Southwest, Southeast, South, even though it's a geopolitical arrangement, the election will still be tagged according to state. Obedient Pharmacist Remira, you want to add anything to what I said?
Yeah, thank you so much. I just want to encourage Samuel with what you've said. I think the Labour Party movement and the Obidati movement are making serious incursion and inroad into the Southwest. Don't worry, of the 6 or 7 states in the Southwest, there is a belief that Peter Obi and the Labour movement will take some states there between 4 and 5. And like Aisha Yesufu promised or said in the Comrade Show a few weeks ago, Lagos is also part of that state that will be taken. A new Nigeria indeed is possible.
Thank you very much. And for Lagos, like I keep telling people, when you look at Lagos, it's a cosmopolitan city. Lagos used to be the federal capital of Nigeria for many years. It was our federal capital. So a lot of Nigerians live there, just like how Abuja is now. So nobody can really lay direct claim. You have people from all parts of Nigeria living in Lagos. And the vote is definitely going to be a vote of diversity. So there's nothing to fear about. But Obedient Comrade Oriahi, you are going to make a contribution to this caller's question. But there's something somebody also called to ask about using the Vice President, His Excellency Dati Baba Ahmed, as a major influencer for the Northern electorate and getting votes through his influence. So I want you to quickly talk on these two things.
First, let me start with that of the Baba, Dati Ahmed. Baba Dati Ahmed, has very strong, relationships across the northern part of Nigeria. He's got some very key persons, nationally, who are even brothers, cousins, and all of that, and they are very influential. And I can tell you that it was not just picked by accident. Being a running mate to to Peter Obi, I believe was carefully considered because of his reach. And I think there's something I like about the obedient political, evolution under Peter Gregory Obi. A lot is being done silently. People are even speculating right now that, a major part of the North would actually be won by Peter Gregory Obi. And almost all parts of the North, apart from probably places like Adamawa, okay, Obi is sure to get like 24% votes. That's one. Then tying that into the issue of whether Obi is going to win this election, I can tell you for sure, just to make everybody understand this, for sure, that based on all that have been happening, if election is held today, free and fair, Obi is the president of Nigeria. Now, more incursions are being made right now by the obedience, movement, and of course the Labour Party into those areas where hitherto we had thought that okay, there may be no good areas. First, there's always been this competition between Kano and Lagos, but with this disqualification of many names from the INEC register, most of which is affecting Kano State, okay, it makes Lagos State right now a major, a pivotal state that will determine who will become president of Nigeria. Now, some people may just look at Tinubu and all of that, but I can tell you that Tinubu being associated with PD, APC, blah, 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 and all those kind of things, even in his own base, already losing support. That's one. Second aspect is that in Lagos, over the years, under Tinubu's hegemony, we came to find out that not more than 17% of eligible electorate in Lagos determined Lagos political, elections previously. But now, we are expecting that probably up to 40 to 50% of Lagos, eligible voters will come and vote in this election. Previously, Tinubu had sway with about 70%. Now, if 40%, 50%, 60% come out in Lagos to vote in this election, believe me, Obi is going to clear Lagos, and we expect that to happen. Now, if Obi carries Lagos and carries Rivers State, okay, these two states, with Kano State, they are the biggest states that will determine so much in this election. We already know that Rivers State is in the back, South is in the back. Then, in the area of, what's his name, the Southwest, some of us have been assured, we have looked at, the demography. Oyo State is purely obedient. As a matter of fact, Oyo State, all those Ibadan area and all those places, they have never really been, that ethnocentric, as it were. You understand? They've always leaned towards, being liberal. They use their head a lot. That's what the second aspect is, that the Yorubas are usually divided now between the Christian Yorubas and the Muslim Yorubas, particularly again looking at the Muslim ticket of the APC. And so it is being expected that Obiism before election day is going to take over the entire West. You understand what I'm saying? And let's not forget that some of the PDP governors in even the Southwest, they are grossly disenchanted with what is happening in PDP right now, with the Wike and the G5 governors and all of that. You understand what I'm saying now? Doing their own and making very huge incursions into what is supposed to be the confidence zone of even the PDP and all of that. So at the end of the day, we can almost certainly say that Obi has done almost everything right so far. And all others are making huge mistakes to favor Obi. If you watch Obi going to Rivers State recently to commission projects, as invited and all of that, the statement made by, Governor Nyesom Wike expresses support for an opposition. I mean, it speaks volumes. And of course, what's this called? A commissioning, arrangement became a rally with, tens of thousands of, Rivers State people coming out to grace the occasion, of course, support, Obi and all of that. So at the end of the day, looking at the entire landscape, I think what is going for Obi right now is that the states Obi will win. He may win some states with as much as 90% total vote cast. He may win some with as much as 80%, as much as 70%. Now, the other states that he will not win, if Obi is going to get, drag up to 24% in some of those other states, that he may not win. And again, in the north, somebody like Kwankwaso is a very, very big factor that will ensure that what's his name, Atiku Abubakar will probably just be confined to Adamawa. That is even if he will win that Adamawa, and the rest will just be shared between Kwankwaso and Obi, with Obi massively carrying Southeast, massively carrying South-South, doing very well in the Southwest, and of course doing very well in the North Central, and branching out to those areas like Kano and all of that. My brother, with the permutations and the demography and the way we are looking at the way things are evolving, I'm very sure that by December ending, maybe midway into January, everybody would have been convinced that Obi is the next president, because Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to make more mistakes. Blah, 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 PD, APC, and all of those sleeping on duty, there are going to be more mistakes that will frustrate even those that are urging him on right now, to know that, man, we cannot leave this nation in the hands of people who are sick. We need to put Nigeria in the hands of people who are competent, who are not going on medical vacation every now and again, people who are trustworthy, who have some integrity. At least they can show that, you can verify it, and the only person standing on that particular field is Peter Gregory Obi. Believe me today, Peter Gregory Obi, by every permutation right now, is the president of Nigeria. We are just waiting to just, dot our I's, cross our T's, put square pegs in square holes, round pegs in round holes, and pronounce Obi president of Nigeria. Be happy, my brother.
Thank you very much. To summarize what you said, that is what the English people will say, dot the I's and cross the T's. So that is what we are waiting for, the coronation, because, all the signals look for a sweeping tsunami victory for the Obi Dati ticket. Indeed, a new Nigeria is possible. Viewers of the Comrade Show, want to thank you all for your patience today. I want to promise you that Mr. Peter Obi has given us his word to be with us today. But a meeting came up with, at some very high levels of discussions and consultations. And he's been in touch with Professor Utomi, who, stood in for him here a while ago. And we want to promise you that His Excellency, Mr. Peter Obi, will be on this show, and we will let you know. Thank you all so much for your understanding. We've been here, for quite a while now, bringing this show to you. I want to appreciate all our callers for today. Mr. Ifeanyi from the United Arab Emirates, our brother Haruna from Switzerland, Mr. Izebihai Donatus, who called in from the United Kingdom, and Samuel Uche, who phoned in from Poland. We appreciate all our other viewers on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and all of our other social media handles for these, engagements, and for all you have been, pushing in, in this narrative today. And I want to thank you, Obedient Pharmacist Remira. Your last word to our viewers.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tony Agbons. It's been good to be here. To our viewers, keep doing what you are doing. A new Nigeria is indeed possible.
And Obedient Comrade Lamte Oriahi, GCOO, Grand Commander of the Order of Obedience. Final word to this program.
I thank you very much, Obedient Comrade Dr. Tony Agbons, for your courage. Yes, Nigerians, according to the words of President Obama of the United States of America, he said, when imagination is joined to common purpose, everyone shall truly have the chance to fulfill their true measure of happiness. Today, as Nigerians, we must join our imaginations to common purpose so that we can see that new Nigeria promised us by incoming President Peter Obi. Let's believe, let's do what we have to do. And believe you me, in a few months from now, the song will be Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Hallelujah. God bless you all. We'll see you again.